Hello, everyone. It's Amanda. How are you doing? I'm making this for February 2019, and we're going to have a look at the general energies for all of us in February. So I'm going to try and keep this to personal in terms of what's going on in your life. And we're going to call in Archangel Metatron for this. So I haven't done this actually for a few months, I don't think, but I thought it would be a good time to do it. So I'm just going to use one of the sprays, and the one that I'm going to use today is the Upgrade and Expansion spray from which we make, Archangel Metatron. Isn't that beautiful? I've got my new halo light here in front of me. In fact, it's so bright I nearly need sunglasses to sit here. I'll talk about that in a moment, but doesn't it show the bottle off beautifully? Isn't that lovely? Let's just spray it then. So Upgrade and Expansion. And I'm just going to feel into a message for us from Metatron before we pull any cards or do anything. So Archangel Metatron, February 2019. What messages can we receive? What is it that you wish to show? I was really trying to bring in the personal stuff, which we will get to, but he's showing me something which is more collective, which isn't a message I particularly want to pass on, but I have to because that's the way it works. I'm hearing the sounding bells of war. And if it's not war, it's the commemoration of war. Why are you showing me that? We have to learn from the past, is what he's saying. And he's saying that there are parallels with what's going on in the world at the moment with regard to what's happened in the past. And I think it's linked into the increase in extremism and the rise of the far right. And he's saying to us, we know where that ultimately leads. And we don't need to make the same mistakes of the past. So it feels as though February, that's just for 1 minute collectively, feels quite a volatile month. So all the more reason for us as individuals to try to hold the vibration of peace. So that's like a bit of a warning for all of us, really. He's not trying to scare us, but usually when I get shown things like that, it's because we need to be shown it. And if we think about the analogy of war and bring it down to us at an individual level, it's very much linked into the parts of ourself as well that we are at war with. Who in our life are we at war with? Do we need to maybe bring out the flag of surrender in certain situations, as well as to ourselves? So there's a bit of a deep old heavy message there, but I am just passing that on, and we might come back to it. I'm going to pull some cards now, and let's just see what comes out. Now, the decks that I've chosen for us for February are the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra and Taylor. I've used these quite a few times. I like them. And I've also got the Art of Love Tarot, which I'm shuffling here, from Toni, Carmine, Salerno. And is it Denise Jarvie? Yes, that's what they look like. Denise Jarvie and Toni, Carmine, Salerno. Going back to that message about war, though, so I've just got another bit coming in now here. What we need to remember is that war exists at all times, unfortunately, in our planet. There's been very few years or decades when there hasn't been a war going on somewhere. So this may just be an escalation of conflict somewhere that I'm seeing, or it may well be a new war. But it is something where we're being warned to just, if we can, to just hold back as a species. And as I always say, our leaders only reflect us anyway. So the more vengeful we are, the more aggressive we are inside of ourselves, that's going to be reflected back at us in an ugly mirror of truth in terms of leaders on the world stage. So we need to step back from that. But what I'm being shown as a slightly more positive message linked into war is that if you think about certainly the big wars that have happened in the world, the Second World War in particular, there was actually during that period an opportunity for enormous growth and development. So on one side, obviously there was the horror of war and what was happening, and nobody wants that, but it brought with it some developments, and I'm particularly feeling the rise of the emancipation of women, basically women who had been at home and not being given the opportunities to work were forced out to work, because the men were not there. So it brought with it the last war, big war, a chance for women to really come into their own again. And it also brought a number of other developments. One of the things that often happens when we face difficult times in the world is that it brings people together. And I'd like to broaden this message in terms of war, because I think it can be read in many different ways. It doesn't have to be that Metatron is showing us a full-scale war that is about to break out in February. I think what he's trying to show us is that we're very much at war with each other at the moment. And I've been talking about that, haven't I, in a lot of my videos, and I've also been talking about it on my Facebook page. And funnily, actually, yesterday I was talking to my husband, and yeah, we were talking about Brexit again. We don't talk about Brexit all the time, by the way, but it's pretty in your face at the moment. So it is referred to quite often. And I said to John, and we have opposing views about what we think should happen, by the way. So we've managed to make peace with each other and respect each other's opinions. So I'm quite proud of that. But the point is, what I was saying to him is that, whatever happens with regard to Brexit, and if, as an example, it is a hard Brexit and we leave with no deal, there is potential for that to be really quite difficult in the short term for the country. And I said to him, actually, my words are coming back to haunt me now, because I said to him, but in some ways, it could bring the country back together. Because in the face of hardship and difficulty, you do find that people suddenly start to remember the person down the road, the little old lady that lives next to you who might be struggling, or it's just about being there for each other a little bit more. And people talk about a wartime spirit, don't they? That somehow people just come together and help each other more. And why does it take the really extreme things for that to bring out the best of humankind? So I think this message that Metatron's bringing through about war is very multi-layered, actually. And I'd like to bring it down to the personal in terms of let's try this February, which I always think is the month of love because we've got Valentine's Day in it, to try to stop the war amongst ourselves in our own communities, and let's bring it right back down into our families and our friendship groups as well. And that can be over the big things with regard to politics or religion, and it can also be the things that trip us up in life, money being one of them. I'm being shown family situations for some of you watching this. it's not my message, but it's a message for some of you out there. And I'm seeing situations where families are at war over money, inheritance, and that can bring out the worst in people actually as well. So that's just one example. Or maybe you're feeling as though you're at war with people that you work with. Maybe you're feeling you're at war with your husband or your wife or your children. And the thing is, if you're in an energy of battle and confrontation, you're not really going to get anywhere. Sometimes we do need to put up the white flag, which isn't just about capitulation. It's actually about just saying, can we just hold it for 1 minute, come back together, hold a truce, let's have a truce and let's try and find some common ground again. So it feels as though February is very important in terms of trying to find that common ground. Okay, let's move on to the cards now. One's just fallen out before I do anything, so I will just take that. And it's the card of skill. I think that fits quite nicely to what I was just saying, because it does require skill to actually be able to come to compromise, call a truce, surrender sometimes, knowing when. It's not knowing when you're beaten, it's knowing maybe when you just haven't got anything else to learn from a situation. There's no point, just that expression, no point about flogging a dead horse. So we've got the card of skill, and it's coming in on the green ray, which is rather beautiful. So let's put that one in the middle. 8 of Trees, skill. I'm also feeling that this is about that we need to be using our heads a little bit more to work out problems and difficulties in our life. I always have said, I've always believed this to be true, and I see it time and time in, and then we've got the card of success on the bottom. I'll take that one as well, because I've always felt in life that sometimes we really struggle to make decisions and changes that need to happen because we see the problem in front of us, the thing that we want to maybe bring in, and all we see are the barriers and the blocks to success. And it's almost as though we give up too easily sometimes, whereas actually what's required is just to pause, breathe, maybe go away from whatever it is you're trying to sort out, and then come back to it afresh another day, using skill, using the skills that you actually have. And it's funny because I posted something on Facebook and on YouTube in the community, the little community tab today. So YouTube, if you're watching me, you can see what I posted on the 31st of January. But it was talking about how we all ask for increased spiritual gifts, such as intuition and being able to see spirit, hear spirit, feel spirit. But actually what we need to be doing is expanding those senses in the everyday, trying to see the other person's point of view, trying to hear other perspectives, trying to be more flexible, and all of that is really saying that we've got far more skill and talent than we actually think we have. But you're never going to find it if we're just always very blinkered and only trying to solve something with a solution that might have worked in the past, but isn't going to work this time round. I'm seeing this a lot in business at the moment. I have to be honest, we're coming up against problems as we expand the business. And there's an issue at the moment with a supplier that we have. And I said to my team this week, I said, actually, just look at this. Look at the situation that we've got. We're actually we're being asked here by Spirit, by Metatron, to think outside the box. We're not going to be able to solve this issue with the same old thinking that we might have put into it in the past. We're going to have to think differently. And I love the fact we've got a team meeting on the new moon on Monday the 4th. So that seems perfect. But can you see what I'm trying to say? It's almost as though you need to be literally flexing muscles and talents and skills that lay very dormant within you if you want that success. Okay, right, let's pull So we've got skill and success. It also says to me as well that if you are on the brink of starting up a new project, a new business, maybe you have a particular skill, maybe you're, I don't know, a great musician or a great artist, or you're very skilled at technology or writing or making pots. It doesn't matter what it is. If you've got that skill, it's a wonderful time right now to be really committing to it and investing in it, because it will lead to success. Yeah, okay. Let's have another 6 cards. I'm going to pull 6 cards out from this deck. That's 1. So this is February, Metatron, please. February 2019. February 2019. 4 more cards, please. That one. Okay, that one. February 2019. Guidance, please, for those watching. February 2019. 2 more cards, please, Metatron. That one and that. No, not that one. Okay. February 2009. That one. Okay. Well, show you what we've got. Make a lot of sense. We've got the card of transition, the 6 of angels, transition. We've got the 7 of stars, which is the energy of faith. We've got the Empress. She comes up all the time, doesn't she, in readings at the moment. We've got rest. We've got perseverance. And we've got the energy of the moon. So, and then on the bottom of the pack, I'll take that one. We've got the energy of boldness. Boldness. So, let's see where we're going with this. Firstly, there are some additional cards here that definitely back up what I've already just said. But this is a time to persevere with your skill set, to be bold, and all of that leads ultimately to success. That's a very simple way of looking at what we've got here, but I do feel it's a message for some of us. Also, we live in an age, whether you are 15 or whether you are 90, there still seems to be something in our consciousness at the moment which has forgotten how much perseverance and hard work goes into becoming a master at something. Whether that's a master healer, a master teacher, a master poet, a master of anything, a professor emeritus of something. Doesn't matter what it is. And I wonder whether it's because, again, we live in this culture where we're so easily distracted by things. There's this thing about perseverance to a skill leads to success. And yet, I want to say. Metatron's saying some of this is due to the fact that society is presenting us with something whereby we're almost expected to reinvent ourselves every decade. Not necessarily a bad thing. Don't forget, Metatron's all about change. But there is great beauty in dedicating a substantial portion of life to something that you're good at and trying to become as good at it as you possibly can. And I'm being shown that in terms of very normal, everyday things. I'll give you an example. I've got this wonderful new accountant. Well, it's the first real accountant I've properly had because my husband's a bookkeeper. But because the business is growing, we've now got this great new guy who's helping us to transition to a new company in April, going to become a limited company. And he really knows his stuff. He knows all the ins and outs of customs and excise and tax and everything you could possibly know. And he's been doing it for years. And he was just saying that his son brought home a piece of homework because he's doing business studies, A level. And he was showing his dad, you know, something that the tutor had said. I don't even know if the tutor had said it, to be honest. I think the son had just got the wrong end of the stick, basically, about something. And so his father, this very experienced accountant, looked at it and said, well, no, that's not the way that you do it. You know, you're not right there. What you actually need to do is blah, 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 blah. And so the son pipes up and says, no, that's not right. That's not what Google says or what blah, blah, blah says. And it's like it was completely disrespecting. This guy's like top of his field, charges an awful lot of money per hour, has earned the right to be able to charge a lot of money per hour because he's top of his game. And it was like, I just loved it because anyone that's got children will get that joke. It's like, well, what do you know? What do you know? Actually, he knows a lot because he's a master craftsman at his profession, accountancy. So whatever it is that you do, it's just like, sometimes it's also about, I feel Metatron is saying to us, be proud of what you're good at. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh, but Amanda, I don't feel like I'm good at anything, I say to you, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Think about what you love to do. It doesn't have to be something that makes money either. It doesn't have to be a profession. It could be something that you do part-time. You could be a wonderful runner. You could be a wonderful baker. You could be a wonderful carer. But it's about being the best that you can be at that and excelling in it, persevering with it, and that leading to success. So there's a lot of that sort of energy around with these cards, okay? What's that expression about boldness and bravery? Is it about success? Boldness and bravery. Put it in the description box below. I've got that coming to me in my head as well. There's something about just be bold, go for it. You know, go for it. Doesn't matter if you're not very good to start with. Persevere, you know, become good at something. And I'm actually making this on January the 31st. It's the last day of January. But again, I put a little thing up on Facebook today just because I've managed to stagger down to the gym. And that was my New Year's resolution, that I was going to get fit. And I've been a few times, but not as regularly as maybe I'd like to have done. But anyway, I managed to get down there. And I thought, yeah, good on you. You know, it's like, stick to something. You're not always good at something the first time you do it. Persevere. It pays off. Now, there's a separate message here, I feel, with these other cards. And again, this isn't for everybody. This is not for everybody, but it is for some people. It might be for one person I'm speaking to now, but it feels like it's a message I need to pass on because I feel this is linked to people who are grieving or people who know that they're about to lose somebody, okay? Maybe you are watching somebody in the last stages of their life. Maybe you're caring for them. It may well be a mother figure. And I'm saying a mother figure, interestingly. So it doesn't have to be mum. It could also be somebody who's been like a mother to you. I'm actually wondering as well whether this could be somebody on the world stage who has been like a mother to people, who's had that sort of role. I don't want to go any further with that, but I'm feeling that could be potentially accurate as well. And the reason I'm saying that is because we've got the card of transition next to the card of faith, and we've got it linked into the mother. So I do feel for some people, you're just being asked to hang on in there, have faith. Somebody is transitioning, and then they rest. If you are the person that is caring for them, you also are going to need rest after they have passed. Another interpretation of that, because there's always loads of different interpretations, is there's another message here for women who are trying for a baby. So I'm feeling that strongly as well. And are going through a period. I mean, pregnancy is a transition. It's one of the biggest transitions that a lot of women go through, from being young, free and single to suddenly having a baby, you know, that you have to care for and get up for, you know, 4 times a night, whatever it is. It's a huge shock to the system. And it requires a lot of faith that actually you're going to be a good mum, you're going to be okay. Applies to dads as well, of course. But we have got the card of the mother, so I do feel that's linked into pregnancy. And I feel, again, for some people watching, it may well be that you just make sure you're getting enough rest. I feel particularly people who are in the first 3 to 4 months of pregnancy, maybe you've just discovered you're pregnant. Again, everything fine, but just make sure that you're getting the rest that your body needs. Even if you're working a 9 to 5 job and you know you're quite stressed out with that, when you come home, the dusting can wait, okay? The pile of laundry can just pile up. I so wish that I had listened when people said that to me after I had both of my babies. And I remember still worrying and obsessing over the fact that, you know, the house was dusty and the ironing needed to be done and, you know, all the rest of it. And people said to me, just enjoy this time that you have, just being a new mum, and enjoy your baby. It doesn't matter about the dust. The dust will always be there. And I struggled with that. I'm not going to have another baby in this lifetime, but, you know, if I had my time again, I would absolutely have listened more to that message and really taken it on board. So those of you that are going through that, whether you're pregnant or whether you're already got the baby, and it doesn't just apply to the baby, it applies to children generally. It doesn't mean we have to live in hovels for the first 18 years of their life, but they grow really, really quickly. And you don't realize that until they start to get a bit older. And it's like, whoa, you know, maybe I could have just relaxed a little bit with regard to other areas of life. Okay, let's put these cards to one side now, because I feel that I've got as much out of them as I can. Just going to spray the spray again, the upgrade and expansion spray. Just feel for another message from Metatron, and then I'm going to take the other pack of cards as well. So expansion and upgrade, February. He's wanting to bring in some collective messages here, and I know why he's doing it, because he's saying you can't separate the collective and the personal. People need to start appreciating. All of us need to start appreciating. I need to start appreciating more that everything is happening in the collective is a reflection of what's happening in the personal. And that requires spiritual maturity to sort of really, really, really get that. So what I'm being shown is rising sea levels. And this is something that if you look at that at a personal level, what does water represent? Water represents our emotions, and it also represents life. And I'm feeling 2 messages here with what I'm just being shown rising water levels, let's put it that way. Life feeling as though it's overwhelming at times. I'm overwhelmed by it. I feel as though I'm almost drowning it. There's just too much going on. You're being asked to remember that you can come up for air again. You can come up for air, okay? And also suppressed emotions. things we haven't really wanted to look at, things we have been denying. It's like the pot's being stirred again. We are in a countdown, is what Metatron is saying, towards 2020. We're going to talk a lot about 2020 as we get nearer to it. But again, as I've said in other videos, it's another huge gateway and moment of awakening for humanity. It's huge. I feel it's bigger than what 2012 was. And so therefore, of course, those of us that are already awake, we need to be cleaning up our act as much as we can so we can be what Metatron is calling stewards for those who are following in our wake. And it just feels as though there is a lot of emotion. I'm being shown this image, and it's both collective and it's personal. I'm being shown the waters of the world. I'm being shown the seas, and it's just like they're littered with debris. That's what I'm being shown, debris. And there are two different ways you could interpret that. You know, where has the debris come from? Has it come from something that has happened? Or is it is it the debris of our own inconsideration for the planet? Again, think about that, bring it down to a personal level, debris floating on water. Think about the waters within your body, all the teachings of Dr. Masaru Emoto, that the waters within our body hold the vibration of what we put into them. If you're putting into your body junk every day in terms of words and emotions, that, you know, you hate yourself, or you can't do this, you can't do that, or you're projecting it out to other people, that she did this, she did that, he said that, you are this, you are that. All of the waters within your body is holding all of that toxicity. And it's like little floating bits of debris. That's what I'm seeing. So there's a cleanup operation needed in terms of the vehicle in which our soul sits, which is our physical body. It was interesting today when I wrote the post on Facebook about the upgrade of the senses, and you know, we want to be more intuitive, we want to be able to hear spirit and see spirit. And the message was very much about, okay, well, yes, that can happen, but equally you need to realize that being able to see deeper and clearer also means that you need to do that in real life. You actually have to see deeper into things, not just spiritual, you know, looking into a crystal ball and giving a message, but looking deeper into situations that you don't understand or people that you don't understand. And that just came through very strongly, really, really strongly. And what I was shown, I didn't actually write, was Metatron was basically saying, and if you do that, and if you try to start to hear people when they call, even those you really dislike, in terms of they are my fellow brother and sister, they are divine just as much as I am, even though I don't resonate with anything that they are saying or doing, I can still see the divine, even though there's a lot of darkness as well. If you're able to do that, then it's like, then turn up to my table, is sort of the message Metatron was giving. Then turn up to my table, because then it's almost like you're ready to do the work. And he showed me this image of a student basically before a teacher, and I guess the teacher would be Metatron here. And the teacher was dressed, sorry, the student was dressed in white. It reminded me a lot of the yogis that you see, you know, in India. Not that I've ever been, but I've often seen pictures, and there's often a respect shown for the teacher. And you know, he or she will be dressed in white, and the students are dressed in white. And it's not just to make a pretty photograph. White is about purity. You're coming before something in a pure state. And I think we need to be bringing back that energy of purity in terms of as much as we can, in terms of our thoughts, our actions, and our deeds. And we're all failing a lot of the time, but at least when you fail, take notice of it, and then try and do better next time. be before a teacher, such as Metatron or any of them, you wouldn't turn up symbolically in dirty rags with, ears closed, with eyes that are completely blinded, with no awareness whatsoever that you are ready to hear, you are ready to see, you are ready to feel. That's what Spirit is sort of asking us to do. But they're saying, and great preparation for that is to try and do that with the people in your everyday life, the people that trigger you. Try to open your heart to them if you can. Try to hear what they're actually saying. Try to see what they're saying. See the world from another person's perspective. It feels as though this is all sort of like leading into unity consciousness teachings. Because truly, if you can see yourself through somebody else's eyes, and equally put yourself into somebody else's shoes, the world looks a very, very different place. A very different place. Okay, let's have 5 cards from this deck then, please, Metatron. How are we doing for time? 36 minutes. 5 cards. February 2019. Any other messages, please? February 2019. I'm going to take the top 5 cards. Victory. Woman holding a coin. Appreciation. The thinking man. And the angel of strength. On the bottom of the deck is the 7th chakra, which is the crown. So let's just have a look at what we've got going on here. I'm straight away drawn to the roses on the cards. 2 of the cards have got women holding roses. I wonder if that's a nod to Valentine's Day. Somebody sent me a video yesterday. In fact, it was Lana Del Rey's video games. And I won't tell you why they sent me the message, but they sent me the message. And one of the things in that video is it's got a beautiful, almost like a velvet magenta rose that just opens up. And it really felt as though it was the heart. It's the heart energy, the energy of love being opened up. And I'm just noticing the roses again here. And then I'm getting another message coming through here, which is different, which is saying, what do you love? What do you love? Not who do you love, what do you love? Do you love money and what it can do for you? Or do you love the beauty of nature and spirit? I know they're not mutually exclusive things, but I'm just feeling here that that is the message. We're being asked to look in February about what is it that we place value on. I'd also then go another step forward and say, actually, it's about, do we place value on, I want to say this is like a heart energy card to me. Please, by the way, if you've never watched my channel before, I read cards completely intuitively. So the traditional meanings of these cards, if you've got the deck, probably means something completely different. But I just go my own way. It's sort of the way I work. So somebody asked me about that the other day. To me, this is the card which is about, I'm valuing my heart. I'm valuing, it's a very aesthetic feeling energy here. What can I feel? What can I treasure from what is around me? You know, the beautiful open rose, the sunset, the snow that is being forecast here in Bournemouth this afternoon. I'm looking forward to seeing that because we don't hardly ever get any. You know, it's like it's going to bring my heart joy. hear me out, people in Canada and America, where you're under, I know, feet of it, but here we get it like maybe once a year, so it is a joy. But this feels like, this brings me, you know, all the beauty of nature and the wonder of spirit, and it's very simple things. They bring me joy. And here we've got, joy can come to me via what I learn, you know, what I learn, my intellect. You know, give me a book, give me a book, you know, give me Stephen Hawking book and let me try and work it out. And that's going to be fantastic. And then here we've got this lady and it's like, now give me money, give me money, give me money. Money's going to make me happy. There's a colour energy that's, I don't think I've got it over there. There's a bottle which is number 24 in the colour mirrors range. And it's actually called Love, Money and Creativity. And I almost sort of think that's what we've got going on here. Like a card for love, a card for money, and he's a bit more creative in his thinking. The skill, of course, is to realize that a blessed life is really about trying to go for all three. If you only value money and nothing else, you're not going to be happy. If you put your mind and your intellect above your heart and your feelings, you're not going to be happy. If you just stand in the garden smelling the roses and only ever honor your heart, it's not a bad place to be, but you're actually missing out on some other aspects of life. You're missing out the beauty of the mind and the wonders of invention and exploration and science. And you're also missing out, actually, that money isn't necessarily a negative thing anyway. Money can do an awful lot of good in the world. It can help other people. It can be given to charity. It can help you help your own family and friends. It can keep you in comfort. Note, I say comfort rather than excess. So it feels as though February is also a month for us to try to balance out those three different aspects that we have going on within ourselves. Money, love, and creativity. And if we do that, it sort of leads to a rather beautiful energy of strength and victory. Anything else on those cards before I put them away? Well, I'm just drawn to the fact we've got cat energy again. Look at that. I mean, a lion, I know cat is maybe stretching it a little bit, but there's a difference between a little moggy and a huge, great big lion. I realise that. But again, it's this feline energy. And did I say that last month? I've said that in one of my videos recently, that I'm really drawn to the cat energy at the moment. And here it is again. Okay, here it is again. So let's just link into that. Why have we got this sort of this cat energy? Cats are very independent creatures, aren't they? They're very independent creatures. They're very spiritual as well. They're very wise. They just sort of, they slink, don't they? They slink. And even the lion, I mean, look at that. I know the lion can pounce, and actually the cat can pounce as well. If anyone's ever had a cat, it's hilarious watching cats, you know, when they stalk something. They really stalk it, and then they pounce. And they can be like lightning as well with it, as can the lion. So there's something about this energy, the cat energy. Let's ask Metatron why this keeps coming up. Why have we got this cat energy? It's got two things going on here. Let's look at the lion first. The lion. What's the lion about? Be as magnificent as the lion. Have you ever seen, I mean, I have never seen a lion up close, but, you know, I've seen documentaries of the lion. My God, they're a beautiful creature. They are just awe-inspiring. They're awe-inspiring. So are you. So are you. We're all creatures of the divine at the end of the day. There's something about that raw energy of the lion. The Lion's Gate energy is coming back as well, the 8-8 energy. Maybe there's something going on right now in your life that links back to whatever you did last August. The 8-8 Lion's Gate energy feels as though whatever seeds you planted at that time, or intentions that you made, or promises that you made to yourself, or changes that came in, feel as though they're around again this February. They're coming back. And as for the cat, where have we got the cat? It's like, I'm not going to tell you that. Look at his face. That's exactly what a cat does. I'm not going to tell you that. That's what my cat used to do. You go up for a cuddle and it would just like run off in the other direction. I'm not going to tell you that. Oh, okay. It's saying be a little bit mysterious. Be a little bit enigmatic. You know, don't give everybody everything in the first 5 minutes. I'm terrible at that. You know, meet me at a party. I'll wear my heart on my sleeve. You'll see it all. You'll hear it all. I'm trying to. I'm trying not to do that so much, but it doesn't come very easily to me. But in all seriousness, look at that cat. It's like quite enigmatic. You know, I may be this, or I may be that. You know, it's very. There's just that sort of energy around. Okay, it's also linked into the whole Valentine's thing, I think. Okay, yeah, Metatron saying what a nonsense that is. He doesn't mean Valentine's Day is a nonsense. What I was tuning into was that energy which some of us grow up with. I suspect men, this applies to men as well, but you know, speaking from a female perspective, there's always this nonsense that is peddled that, you know, be a bit mysterious and treat them really bad, and then they will, you know, they'll be really enthralled by you. What a load of nonsense that is, you know? Can we let go of that, you know? Can we not just be like her, which is like, I'm strong enough to actually show you who I am. I'm strong enough to show you who I am. This is who I am. Are you ready for that or not? It's that sort of energy, rather than, you know, I'll just show you a little bit, and then you know, see if you're still keen, and then if you are, I might show you a little bit more. It's just like playing games with love, playing games with your heart. Let's stop that. It's such nonsense. Let's just show who we are, both as men and as women. This is who I am. And if that's too much for you, fine. There'll be somebody else. And I'm saying that sitting in front of this huge, great big halo light. And it reminds me of something that one of my teachers said to me, which was that when you are fully in your light, she's fully in her light. Look at that. And the lion is helping her to be fully in her light. When you're fully in your light, and it's just like, this is who I am. This is who I am. You know, I feel empowered. This is who I am. That can be actually, Melissa always used to talk about, it's like, particularly if you live with somebody like that, you know, or you know somebody like that, it's a bit like somebody shining one of these bloody lights in your face the whole time. It's literally like your light can be it's almost like too bright for some people. And so what do? We go away and we try to sort of dim it a little bit. We dim it so that we'll be a little bit more acceptable, or we'll come down to their level. No, that's not what we're being asked to do this February. The month of love, we're being asked to show up who we are. This is who I am. Does she look like she feels like she doesn't feel worthy? Now, I know a lot of us are not there. It's taken me decades to get to the point where I do feel like that now, to be honest. Most of the time, not always, most of the time I do. But decades and decades of work. So I know it's not easy. Completely understand that. But I do think part of it is just letting go of that old script, which is I have to keep myself small so that I will be acceptable to you. I won't show you who I really am, because if I really show you who I really am, you might be totally freaked out by that. Somebody who's actually on your wavelength and who resonates with you and who really sees who you are and sees your soul, they're not freaked out by that. They will match it. Okay? So, I don't know where all that came from, but that feels quite relevant. I will do a love reading on Valentine's Day, definitely. May well be a twin flame reading, because as you know, I like to honour the twin flame community. Let's just pull a chakra card for February. I got these little cards. I don't know, I got them in Canada, so don't ask me who does them or anything. I don't know, but they're quite sweet. I'm just going to pull one, see what we get. The analogy of the light, okay, right in front of me, which is really bright. The other thing Metatron's saying is, again, I was just saying, sometimes our light can be too bright for people. Remember that your eyes adjust. Your eyes adjust to the brightness. So equally, if you've got somebody in your life that you're a bit dazzled by, stay in their presence enough and you will adjust to their frequency. You will go up to their frequency rather than thinking, I need to run away because I am not worthy, all of that stuff. Okay, one card. Yeah. My physical health is strong and stable. What was I saying about the body? The physical vehicle in which the soul resides needs to be as strong as we can get it. Some of you watching me will have got problems with your health. There's a lot of stuff at the moment seems to be linking into bones as well, and skeletal stuff going on backs. Lots of people having back problems. I know a lot of people with those problems at the moment. But we work with what we have. Okay, so wherever you're coming from, it's the affirmation is, my physical health is strong and stable. And remember what I was saying about the waters within the body. The waters within your body listen to what you say to it. So if you wake up every morning thinking I'm weak and feeble and unlovable and all the rest of it, well, it helps to reinforce that energy that is already existing in the body, and it just almost like puts a rubber stamp on it. Yep, Amanda is that. She's weak and feeble and unlovable. Can you feel what that does to you? So straight away, we need to counter that with, no, I am physically healthy, strong, stable, and I am lovable. Straight away, you can feel the difference in your body. It's like your body goes, oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay, let's pull a final card. Let's pull a final card from both decks. So let's have one from the Art of Love Tarot and then one from the Energy Oracle cards. Yeah, dark old skies out there today. Good job I've got my lamp on. Looks like it's going to snow. Love to you if you've got those extreme temperatures going on, hot and cold. My goodness. We're going to have to ask Metatron about that on another video. I'm going to have to bring all the elements in, and I'm going to have to do it as soon as I can. I do these videos in between all my other work, so bear with me. Got the card of Refinement, and that's underneath the moon. So we've got the new moon on Monday. What goes with that? The Magician and the Mirror. Yeah, exactly what I've just said. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, change it. Oh, we can't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You are what you think you are. You can look, any of us, absolutely any of us, can look in the mirror, particularly first thing in the morning, and you can see everything that you don't like. It's like, oh God, I've got like crow's feet, and God, I've got grey hair coming through here, and all the rest of it. Of course you can. Everyone can do that, whatever age you are. Or you can look in the mirror and you can say, looking good, girl. I'm making light of it, but it's a serious point. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Like what you see in the mirror. If you don't like what you see in the mirror about yourself, who else is going to? But it's not even about anybody else. It's about you. You are able to change what you see in the mirror, whether that is physically, but more, well, it's not more important because the physical body is important, but it's the spirit within the body. I've seen people before who are very, very handicapped. You know, there's one lady, I can't remember the lady's name. I didn't actually meet her. I was on television actually. But it always stayed with me. And she was a lady, I don't know, maybe in her 30s, and she was so severely handicapped in a wheelchair, and she didn't have the use of an awful lot of her, bodily functions, and she was very, very severely handicapped. And my God, though, the light in this woman's eyes and the energy that she had and the ability to transcend the limitations that she had, she was just absolutely and utterly awe-inspiring, what she did with her life and what she was still able to get out and do. And the thing is, she could easily have stood in front of her mirror every morning and just seen the body that couldn't do X, Y, Z, but she chose not to. She chose to still see what she could do, what she did like about herself. But more than anything, it was being able to actually see beyond the body anyway. It was seeing the spirit. If you actually look into the mirror, what you should really be looking at is not the little lines that are appearing around your eyes or anything like that, or any other little defect that you think you've got. You should be looking at the light in your eyes. Do your eyes look alive? Do they look happy? Do they look like you have spirit within your body? Somebody who is fed by spirit, and by that I mean connected into the archangels, Christ, Buddha, whatever your faith is, it becomes like a living energy within your body, and you can see it. You can see it in somebody's eyes. You can see it in somebody's skin. You can see it in the way they talk. You can feel it. You can see it in their aura if you're that way inclined. So start to see it within yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. Refinement. Anything else to say on refinement? I'm just going to put that image up to the camera. In some ways, I'm almost now getting a message which is saying that tree that looks completely bare and sparse, and there's no fruit, there's no blossom, it just looks like a trunk with some bare old branches. How beautiful is that? Does it actually need any more refinement? Can we not see the beauty just in that? It's like winter, isn't it? Can we see the beauty in winter just as much we can the hot summer's day? I went down to my beach yesterday, and they are doing, what's it called? They're dredging up sand basically from the seabed to bolster the sand on the beach. And they're also reinforcing all the groins on the beach because the coastline near where I live is constantly being eroded and left to its own devices. There are some particular places near me which would just be, it would be swallowed up by the sea. So every year you see the people on the beach, and it's just a huge amount of machinery there yesterday, drilling holes and putting down these new groins, and they had diggers and all sorts going on. It's actually quite interesting. But again, I actually looked at that scene on the beach with all the diggers and the workmen, and there was a crane, there's all sorts going on down there. And I didn't see ugliness. I saw beauty in it as well. I saw beauty in that scene. versus a summer picture postcard image of that same stretch of beach, you know, with somebody sat eating an ice cream on a lovely sunny day, blue skies, warm sea, ha ha, you know, all of that. So there's beauty in all stages of it. Okay, I think that's probably enough for this video. Lots of love, everybody. I'll be back before Valentine's Day anyway. And I did say the next video was going to be Australia's, but this one just crept in front, I'm afraid. But I do want to do the Australia video and what's going on with the Earth and the climate and the weather. That needs to be looked at ASAP as well. Take care, everybody. Remember, let's make peace, not war. Much love. Bye-bye.